Welcome back to the Simply His Coffee Shop. Thank you so much for joining us again today. I'm in studio with Mom and Sharice, and we're going to have another fun day talking about Valentine's Day. So we're going to start part 2. If you missed last week, please go back and watch it. It was a fun conversation that we were having about Valentine's Day, and not maybe in the way that you would think about Valentine's Day. And we kind of pig trailed. It was a fun show. We had a lot of great.
I'm the queen of the pig trail. Sorry.
We're going to have pig trails with
No,
us.
we all tend to do it.
Look,
it's my talent.
Yeah, we're all very talented in that one, for sure.
I come from a long line of pig trailers. Just saying.
Yeah, but today we'll start off talking about self-love and faith,
Right.
because so many of us as women, we forget how important self-love is. And maybe you're single, so maybe have that be your focus for this Valentine's Day, is remembering that self-care is so important.
Yeah, it is pretty important, A couple of things that I think about, with self-care is, your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit, right? Corinthians. Mm-hmm. So it should motivate us, should is the optimum word there in that sentence, for proper nutrition, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or prioritizing our physical being, like resting, which,
We all maniacally laugh at that.
I know.
So I was going to ask, what is this you talk about?
What is rest? What does that even
I'm
mean?
sorry, I'm trying.
I'm so confused.
Trying to tune in.
But that's something that, you've got to prioritize the physical well-being of yourself as well for self-care.
Well, and self-care and self-love, I think, are interchangeable.
Yeah.
They're both exactly mean the same thing.
Yeah.
You have to love yourself enough to take care of yourself. And there's that adage that says you can't fill other people up if you're running on empty.
Very true.
And so many times we're like, well, I'll prioritize myself later. I'll prioritize myself later. But when we don't take the time to take that quiet time or to just do something that's relaxing for ourselves, we can't then help somebody else, because now our emotions are all over the place because we haven't taken the time to maybe calm ourselves down. And then we get in a tizzy, and then we can help other people become more tizzied. Or, it's harder to do. So that self-love and self-care is so important.
It is, ma'am.
You had mentioned, Catherine, self-love and self-care.
Mm-hmm.
Those are two different things.
Oh, yeah.
Because you can take care of yourself physically, like you said, Sharice, feeding your body the right thing. But why are you doing that? Are you doing that because you feel like people around you need you to be healthy, to stay healthy, to care for them? Is that your motive? Okay, that's a good motive because you want to be there for your family.
Right.
That's not enough. You really need to understand that you are loved, and you need to love and respect yourself, because like you said, Catherine, that resonates to those around you.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot more to that little, which I think, honestly, we could do a whole show just on that subject at some point in the future.
Yeah, we need to do that one.
I'd like to research it a little more so that I'm more concise in how we present that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there's a whole lot more to that aspect, is how we view ourselves and why we view ourselves that way.
Right.
Concepts are so important.
Mm-hmm.
Concepts and motives. Concepts of what you do and why you do them.
Right.
Concepts of other people.
Yeah.
And why we are who we are with that person. Can apply that towards God.
Right.
Our concept of God and his concept of us and what we understand it can change so much about the way you approach and about the way you receive things too and perceive things. So I love that. That was an amazing point, that there's those two conundrums there.
Mm-hmm.
The duality of self-love and self-care.
Yeah.
Right.
Great point.
Yeah, because they can interchange, but like you're saying, they are also very different. They're the same, but different.
Similar but different.
So you do have to, you can't have one in some ways, though, without the other to a degree.
There's a lot of people that would apply self-care more so than self-love.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like just...
Oh, I see that a lot.
You know what I mean?
You have these healthy people and they're not really very happy, and why?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And it could be connected to what is going on within their own self-esteem, their own self-value. Those things are important. And here's the wonderful thing about that is that we are valued.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
God said it over and over and over. Just read John 3:16. That's the verse that will help you understand God's love for you, is that He gave. And I'm telling you, if you've got any one child, if you yourself had to make that sacrifice, I probably would just say no. Sorry.
Right.
They deserve what they get.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know. But God did not say that. We deserve what we are not going to get.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
Because Jesus came.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
that helps us to view ourselves from a different perspective.
Yeah, it should, for sure. The thing, too, with self-love versus self-care is how, for a long time, mental health has been, stigmatized.
Oh, absolutely. And tabooed. We don't talk about
exactly,
that.
Exactly.
Also a great point.
Don't deal with that. But there's so many, fantastic Christian professionals in the mental health, world.
Yes.
That, if you are struggling with something, whether it's self-love or whatever the case may be, or why you can't say no to everything that comes up, right?
Yes.
That there's a reason for that, and seeking that professional help, is important for your self-care.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's something that you could do for yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because now, you can get right on your phone. And you can text a therapist. You don't even have to go take off work, go into their facility. You can Zoom them.
Yeah,
there's so many
telehealth is big on
Oh,
that
it's
now.
huge. Yes, there's a lot of different platforms that you can utilize to be able to. Why am I this way? Why don't I like this? Why am I, like this? So that's one thing that you can, do for yourself for Valentine's Day.
Well, and I don't know if I've said it on this platform before, but I've said it to certain people in my circle and stuff, is sometimes counseling or finding a professional person that's a therapist or whatever, sometimes that can be life-changing. And again, it doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. It just means that you need extra tools in your toolbox, that need to help you learn how to retrain your brain / figure out some of the issues that you may or may not have. And marriage counseling, dude, get marriage counseling if your marriage is in trouble and you need help, because sometimes you just need a person that's in the room that's neutral and doesn't take sides from one to the other, that can just be that neutral party so that you guys can actually work out and talk out. Because that's a big one. When you get your emotions all over the place in your own home or whatever, you might not be able to constructively listen and constructively speak.
No, for sure.
It just turns into a fight.
Right.
And so having another person in the room, so to speak,
and give you the tools,
does help, so that then it can open up and help teach you how to communicate to each other. So that's a huge one. And the other thing I always say about that is it doesn't have to last forever. You might be able to go to 4 sessions. You might go to 1 session or 2 sessions, or maybe you need 20 sessions. It doesn't matter as long as you're getting the help that you need.
And
because it's just for a period of time.
Exactly. We've got a fantastic resource in our peripheral. It's the Smalley Institute, Gary Smalley.
Oh, yeah.
Smalley Institute is in Branson, and they have like weekend retreats that you can go to, and when we were in AG as well, it was a weekend retreat, marriage encounter. So there's like marriage encounter kind of stuff that you can go, even if nothing's wrong, you can still find things that are like...
Well, that's like when you're parenting, you can never know too much about it. Get another, there's no level of stopping.
No, exactly.
I got this under control. That's not real. I mean, you have to constantly work on it.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, and no child is similar.
Nope.
They're all different.
Isn't that a revelation? After having 4 kids, you think you got it right the first time? No, you got 3 other ones and they're all different.
Un poquito.
They're all crazy.
They're adorable. You know,
great kids. But even talking about the whole marriage thing, what about singles? So maybe if you're a single woman or a single man, maybe this is also your time where you focus on the Lord and focus on what He has for you, and maybe fix some issues in your own to get you ready for your spouse, you
Right.
know, and praying for your spouse is huge.
Right.
You know, I've told my kids, I'm praying for your spouse
Right.
because I want the Lord to help bring you and find you
There's
a
some
good
of your
one.
kids that I'm praying for their spouse.
Yeah. Just pray for all of them. Don't just one, just all of them.
How's he going to handle her?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's that.
I know. And
Not saying
arranged
any
marriage
names.
isn't a thing anymore. So,
Shucks, no dowry with this one.
but you know, start praying for your spouse.
Right.
I know I did when I was, you know, a young girl and everything. And that's so important. And I think a lot of people, I mean, they pray about it, but they're not maybe praying about it in the right way. And I'm not trying to step on toes at all, but I think just asking for certain,
Right.
you know, I need him to want this, or I need him to look like this,
Tall,
or I
dark,
need
and
to.
handsome.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, well, it's not always about that. Sometimes it's about their heart. Be praying first and foremost that he loves
Yeah.
the Lord.
Right. That's
You know,
huge.
and that he will take care of you
Yes.
in
Yeah.
the same way that God takes care of us. You
Right.
know,
Right.
that is he going to be a good dad? Is he going to love your kids once you guys start having them? You know, there's so much more that goes into relationships than
Right.
just, oh, is he cute? Oh, am I attracted to him?
I like his car.
Right, exactly. So I think there's ways
Yeah.
too to be praying for that, and
Goes
you
for the
mamas
little
need to
boys,
be
too.
praying for that.
Yeah.
Pray for the little boys too.
Oh, absolutely.
I prayed for all of my kids
Yeah.
that they would meet the right person. So yeah, that's a good point also.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, spouses in general. That doesn't mean it just as a husband. It's like
Right.
I pray that for Thomas, that he'll find a good woman that he can marry, you know, and that I'm hoping to train him up so that he'll be a good husband.
Right.
You know, so it's a two-way street. You
Right.
pray for no matter who they marry, that they will love the Lord first and foremost, and then
Right.
love your child
And
as
take
their
care of them.
spouse.
Yeah.
Right.
It's crazy. Now you got to start praying for your grandkids.
Dude, I already have. Already have. Lord, telling you. That little thing, she is all of me and all of her mother. So he's going to need some help. He's
a
going to need
tall
little
order.
help. Yeah, it's a very tall. Yeah, and having me as her mama, good luck, boy.
Okay, so what are some good date ideas for people that want to go on a date that is a good Christian type date, or something that
Right.
won't get them in too much trouble, you know?
This
'Cause
is
that
one of
can
those I would
happen.
hope to hear some comments on our Simply His Facebook.
Yeah, that'd be great for,
I would
for
love
them
for
to.
people to weigh in and say, what did you do? What was
Right.
unique about it? You might even throw in a few of those proposal ideas for those who
There
are
you go,
ready for
there
that
you
next
go.
phase.
There you go.
Because it'd be fun for us to read about it and
It
love
would
stuff
be.
like
It
that.
would be fun. It'd be a lot of fun. Well, I can
Yeah.
tell you what Toby and I did last Friday. We had a date night. We went to Top of the Rock has this cave tour that you take
Oh,
on
yeah.
the golf cart.
Mm-hmm.
And up until the end of January, they got all the Christmas lights out at night.
Okay.
Because normally it's just a day thing. You go during the day. So we went and did that, and it was so beautiful.
Wow.
It's really fun. You
Yeah.
know, doing stuff that we don't like normally do.
Right.
Like I try to think out of the box and try to not make him crazy, which good luck with that. Because I like stuff that's like, I thought about like Top Golf. How much fun would it be to go to like a Top Golf place and, hit those balls or whatever? Or not too far from us is a beautiful museum in Arkansas, Crystal Bridges. Go
Oh,
go
yeah,
walk
I've
through
heard
an
of
art
Crystal
museum.
Bridges.
Yeah. Just
Never
doing
been there
stuff
before.
that's different instead of just going out to eat, because I have to eat every day. So that's not like a date, dude. Right?
I had never thought of it that way. It's like,
That's funny.
It's
So
only-
again, that's being a little bit more intentional, where
Right.
you're actually planning
Exactly.
a date.
Testing 1, 2, Toby Barton. Just saying. It's fine. It's fine.
One, like with Joe and I, usually our dates, quote unquote, are usually thrown together at the last minute because, oh, hey, both of us have a free day. You want to go grab a cup of coffee or go eat some lunch somewhere just really fast before I have to go pick up kids. So, ours are not always as intentional. But Joe and I have never, when we were first dating and everything, we went to the movies some, but we always didn't particularly care to go to dinner and a movie, but I know a lot of people do like to do that. We would rather watch a movie at home or something where we could pause it and talk. Yeah. But most of the time, if we're going on a date, it's like, okay, this is our chance to catch up. So what have you been up to? Well, this is what I've been doing, and these are the things that I'm dealing with. What are you doing? So it's more of a catch-up session because of the phase of life that we're in. Right, with all the kids. So it makes it a little bit trickier. And I will be crazied if every single time that we actually plan and are intentional with the date, okay, you and me, we were making reservations, we're going to go do this and we're going to go do that. One of the kids never fails. Gets sick. Yep. Starts running a fever or starts puking in the middle of the night.
Yeah, the kind of sick that you can't just give,
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no. That you can't not just cancel all of your plans. Right. So I feel your pain if there's others of you out there that this has happened to you because it never fails. It never fails.
Well, what's funny is like on TikTok, there was a trend. I haven't seen it lately, but they write a bunch of cards out, right? Like a place to go, what you're wearing, or like some of them will go to a thrift shop and make them pick an outfit that they have to wear on date day, and you're like they run their hand down and they can't look, and so they go out to dinner and then they have like pick one or two, and two is this, one is that, whatever, so that it's kind of spontaneous but kind of
mixes it up.
Yeah, mixes it up.
Well, there's also on social media and stuff where a lot of places are now even just coming up with like date night box. Right. So it's like different date night boxes. It's a subscription or something like that. Some people like it, some people don't. I've never tried one, but I've seen it. I'm like, that's kind of cool because it has these different ideas of things that you can do. And then, you can do your own at-home ones that you kind of make yourself. And then you can either do at home or you can go out.
Well, like at Christmas time, you and I kind of went down the rabbit trail of Good Belly. Yes. So Good Belly is this platform. It's a website that you can go buy all kinds of foods, different foods. So like they have date night boxes, like restaurants I will never walk into in New York City or in Maine. You can get a date night box with like fresh caught lobster, and it gives you all the ingredients, make the meal together, kind of a thing. Yep. There's like top chefs like Emeril Lagasse and Duff Goldman, the man that makes those incredible cakes. You can buy one of his cakes on there. Places that we can't go or won't, Right. Yeah. But you could have a date night where, is it a little expensive? It could be. But you can, it's Valentine's, splurge. Right. Don't buy the flowers, just get this. But you could, get a meal from one of these 5-star Michelin restaurants from chefs that are like, we'll never get reservations there or fly there or, kind of a thing. So that's kind of an idea too. That'd be fun to just do it at home, be together, watch a movie at home, but have this big, special treat. Yeah. I thought about that because I would really love smoked lobster from Maine. Just saying. Just saying.
Hint, hint again. Yeah. For some people, budget is a big thing, depending, especially if they're two college students that are just starting out dating and things, true. There's usually parks that you can go walk around, like here in Springfield, there's Nathaniel Green Park that take a picnic lunch, go to Aldi's or
so much fun.
Walmart and get sandwich fixings and make a picnic lunch. We've actually done that as a family a couple of times where we'll just stop and grab stuff, grab a bag of chips, some lunch meat, and go to the park, and then you can walk around and visit and talk, and most of them are paved, so even if you like biking, you can go biking on the trails.
We have a lot of trails around here.
Yeah, and hiking in general. I mean, that's a good way to go and just get out and...
Yeah. There are things out there to do if you just look.
Right. There is.
And
for sure.
Like Chamber of Commerce for different cities could direct you into some of those things that would be inexpensive to do.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I know one of the funnest things I did, and I was going to take Tom, and we just never got to it, but I had visited the caves right here in Springfield, underground caves.
Yeah.
Those were very interesting.
It is
and very historic to know. I won't do what they call a spoiler.
Spoiler alert.
I won't do that for you, but if you're anywhere in the Springfield area, there are some really fantastic caves, and the stories behind them
Yeah.
are crazy good.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you.
There's
You
one in
have to just
Branson
go
West,
visit
too.
them.
Yeah, Springfield, Branson West.
But yeah, those are the kinds of things that are very inexpensive, and it's very memorable.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I mean, and
It's super fun.
It's a fun way to spend your time.
Yeah.
Fun
Well,
way
and
to
that's-
spend a day.
If you need dates for your whole entire family, that's a good one too for your whole
Yes.
family to take them out on something like that. I know my kids love to go skating now that we finally introduced them to skating.
Yeah.
So we go and do that quite often, and I don't think a lot of people even think about, oh yeah, there used to be skating rinks. We could do that, But that's a really fun
It is
thing
fun.
to go and do.
And so people my age like to watch.
Yes, exactly.
Because there's no way you're going to get me on a roller skate.
We had my 40th birthday because I grew up basically at the skating rink Friday and Saturday nights in Branson. But we had my 40th birthday there. We had an 80s party. And then it wasn't my 50th, it was my 51st birthday. Toby threw me a surprise birthday party, which really, I'm never surprised. He surprised me. Like I had no clue.
Good job, Toby.
He really did good. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I love it.
So one of the dates that Joe and I tend to go on quite a bit too, because again, they're sometimes just thrown together, and so they're not planned particularly. So we'll go and get lunch or whatever, and then sometimes we'll go to a Christian bookstore, and he'll buy me a new devotional, or I'll get him a devotional, or depending on if we're looking for something specific for this ministry and stuff, we'll find something that, this would be really good for that, or a new journal, or even a new CD, get a worship CD, or get just one of the newer albums that has come out, because we do still have CD players in our cars. So I know a lot of cars anymore,
Like
they don't
streaming.
even. I know. I do stream a lot, but sometimes it's nice to have a CD to play.
Right.
And I know my kids always have a CD player in their bedroom that they listen to. So, that's even a fun date. Go and find even a couple's devotional that you guys can do together. And we've done that before too. So, I mean, those are all just really fun ideas that you can do either as a family or as a couple or even as a single. Take yourself out and go buy yourself a new devotional or a journal.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
But we do that quite a bit, actually. So that's always
Sometimes
a fun one.
those, what Tom and I used to call sneak out dates, those are the funnest. You're just pulling off something fun. You just get in the car and you disappear for a little while.
Exactly.
Nobody knows where
Even
you're at.
just driving.
It's fun.
Just, looking at nature.
Oh, love that.
Depending on the time of year.
Driving has always been fun for me. Get in the car and drive for an hour and turn around and come back.
Well, plus then you're confined and you can, it's no distractions.
That's true.
And that's part
long
of
as the
it. Because
phone's
even
turned
if
off.
you're not, I have to throw Joe's out the window. But anywho, or tell him to accidentally leave it at home.
It's on airplane mode, sir.
I know. It's like if they really need you, they'll get a hold of me. It's fine.
Right, exactly. If it's a true emergency. I love it when you hijack his phone.
And I have. I've had to a few times.
I know.
Quite a few times. But anyways. But yeah, the distractions of car rides. And so again, even just on our basically sneak out dates. Hey, I have a chiropractor appointment. You want to ride with me? And we'll go get coffee and visit for a little bit. So it's important to keep that connection.
It very much so is.
Just the communication.
Because something that, I've learned, and you'll know it, that, I'm not just a mom.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so in our post kids being in the house phase, I've had to learn that re-establishing that relationship, right? Before kids. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Oh, you mean with your spouse?
Yeah. It's a different dynamic when you're in the throngs of rearing kids and in ministry, and then all of a sudden there's a sudden stop.
Yes.
And then you're like, what do I do with my hands? Who are you again? I know you're cute, but you live here, right? You know what I mean?
The fun thing about that is if you do manage with your intuitive follow through,
Right.
choice of commitment and unconditioned and sacrificial love.
Yeah.
Because that's what marriage is.
Yeah.
When you do get to a point where you're there and your kids are all doing what they do, guess what can happen? Tom and I were just right at that point where we were starting to have fun again.
Yeah.
Because everything we do, we build, we do things, we're busy doing stuff. And we had just reached this plateau where we were talking retirement. And so we were starting to kind of relinquish some of the responsibilities that we had been, not just full-time and a half.
Right.
Because if you know Tom, he's not a guy that works 8 hours. He just, that's who he is.
Yeah.
So we had reached this plateau where he was starting to kind of go, we were talking maybe like road trips. So life had just started to kind of take a different turn. So I want to encourage you, if you do get to that point where you talk about, you meet this guy. Well, see, I know you. Didn't we have kids before?
Exactly.
We were having so much fun. In fact, I'll never forget, we're parked at a stoplight. And we were laughing about something that happened. And he one-lined me. And I looked at him, and I one-lined him back. He looked at me, because I usually just take the one-liner and go with it, right? I one-lined him back. And we're just like teasing back and forth. I one-lined him into silence.
Oh, my goodness.
But
That's something.
No, I know, right?
That's a feat in itself.
But we were at the stoplight waiting for the light to turn, and we were just one-lining one at each other, and we were both laughing so hard. And it was a moment that we both realized, hey, wow, this is kind of fun.
Right.
We don't have to figure out what bank account we're going to pay that bill out of, and who are we going to hire to get that project done, and how's this going to work. And it was fun because we were just getting to a place where you could just kind of kick around and have fun. So I just want to encourage you, there are more plateaus of love. There are more plateaus of marriage.
Yeah.
It's just phases and stages of life.
Yeah.
And getting through all of those things you're talking about, raising up your children, and like you just said, you met this guy in your house and he's cute, and you realize you're married to him.
Wait, what?
The thing is those things, these are seasons that God will give it. He gives it back to you.
Yeah.
When you get to that season, and even though my season with my husband was short, it was forever.
Right. Absolutely.
And I'm thankful for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really am.
Yeah.
So don't give up.
Yeah.
No.
Keep your marriage strong. Because
and
it
the
gets
thing
better.
that you
It
and
can
Dad
get
always did without fail, they had Valentine's Day every Friday.
Oh, I know.
Friday
Yes.
was date day, no matter what. I mean, ever since I've known them, that's the deal. And Joe and I are aspiring to do that and try and try and try and
transitioning
try.
right now, yeah.
Doesn't even have to be Friday. I'll take Wednesday.
Just
Any day.
That's what I'm talking about. Sneak out, man.
Right.
Don't wait for Friday, because Friday your kids will be sick.
No, I know. Or
Sneak
the
out.
weekend, or they
Take a
have a
day.
ball game or a dance competition or whatever. So, that's something to aspire to.
Right.
But like you were saying, it was interesting when Pat Boone was out here a few years ago talking about his book, when we would ask him, and you were married for
How long?
how long? And he's like, well, we were married for however long it was. He's like, but I'm still married to her.
Yes.
She might be gone, but I'm still married
Right.
to her.
I know, and he was
That was very
sincere in
sweet.
that.
That was
He
very
was.
sweet.
He was still very much in
That was
love with
very
his
sweet.
wife. It was very cute.
It is very cute.
Just in case, though, what is a one-liner, in case some people don't know what you were referring to with the teasing back and forth, and what's an actual one-liner?
I know, right? Sometimes we get caught up in the moment. We think the world just understands where we're at. Well,
I
if
know.
you get to know us, you'll figure it out. Sooner or later, you'll follow along. But the one-liners is like when you say a little smart aleck thing to somebody in tease and in jest. So
Yeah.
it's not anything derogatory.
Right.
In fact, we were teasing each other about forgetting things. And, he forgot to do something, and then he blamed it on me. And then I blamed the forgetting because he makes me forget. Anyway, it went back and forth like that, and he could not shut me up. And that was what was funny about it. But that's what a one-liner is when you tease with your spouse
funny.
and you end up in laughter. And, I mean, everybody does these little one-liners.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just what we call them.
Yeah, that's what we
that
call
makes
it.
sense. Like,
But, yeah, that was fun.
that's funny.
We had just got to that point where we were starting to one-line each other a lot. And it was a blast. We were having so much fun sneaking out and one-lining and just enjoying each other's company.
Right.
But we had all of these
Not
years of
taking
doing
yourself
things.
so serious.
Yes, exactly. Learning to have fun again. Because when
Yeah.
you first meet, it's like all about it. Were you? So we were just starting to get that again. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Again, I encourage you, if you're young in your marriage and you're having difficulties, if you do last, because a lot of people give up.
Yeah, they
but
do.
You know what?
Well, that's part of the culture. And that was one thing that Joe and I did say when we were getting ready to get married. We're like, divorce is never going to be part of the equation.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to do this. But, you have to work. And that's, again, where maybe go see a marriage counselor, maybe be more intentional with certain things. Pray for your spouse.
Yeah.
Pray for your husband. Pray for your wife. I don't know if a lot of people do that, or I pray for them. But do you pray for them?
Right.
Do you actually say, Lord, help me be a better wife? Help me be a better husband?
Yeah.
Help me understand them better? How can I serve my spouse? That's such a huge thing, and that's a good thing for these young people coming up, too, to learn that you need to have your own boundaries.
Yeah.
And that's part of the self-care, is learning your boundaries and what you will and will not tolerate, but at the same time demand respect, but also give respect.
Yeah.
If you want somebody to respect you, respect to me is always earned. It's not
a freebie.
It's not a freebie. And a lot of times, we say that to our kids, oh, you have to respect them because they're your adult or they're your elder. And it's like, yes, I teach my kids to respect their elders, but at the same time, being respectful to them is different than being respecting of them, if that makes sense. And I've always tried to teach them that difference. I'm like, even if they're telling you something that's not correct, you can still be respectful, shake your head, smile, and then you come and talk to me, and then we'll figure it out, because then that way you're not being disrespectful.
Yeah.
But you have to earn my kids' respect. They're not just going to respect you just because you're an adult, or you're a teacher, or you're a pastor, or whoever you are to them. They're not going to respect you just because.
I find it interesting how many adults don't understand that about kids. That respect goes both ways.
It does. Well, and like we talk about them, they're a tiny human. They're just a small person.
Right.
They are.
They just may not know, because again, they're young and they're learning what boundaries are and how to speak in a way that is okay, instead of just opening their mouth and something falls out.
Right.
I mean, a lot of adults do that too, and they kind of need to learn how to.
There's that.
But anyways, it's just very interesting to me.
Yeah.
So any final thoughts on our Valentine's Day shows?
I love them.
You love them? Good one.
You're welcome.
Honey much.
Wah, wah.
Closing thoughts. Well, we hope you've enjoyed these Valentine's Day shows. Love like God loved. That's the biggest thing, and I think that's the biggest key of Valentine's Day, is showing others God's love, because that's the most important thing that we can do in this life. Show love to your spouse, show love to your family, show love to your kids, show love to your community. It's so, so, so important. So thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next week in the Simply His Coffee Shop.